All right, so I have completed both of my panels here. And so now we're ready to put them together. Now, I wanted to put 2 layers because, as I said before, this is going to deal with heat. And if you really want to protect your surfaces, I definitely recommend thickening up that layer. And so that's why I made 2 panels that we're going to sew together. And now we have a nice thick pad to set our hot pots or teas or anything like that on top of. And actually, some people might even go the extra mile and put a bit of, I forget what the piece of fabric is called. It's what they use to make ironing pads. And you can probably find that at any fabric store. You might even be able to find it on Amazon. And I'll have a quick look. If I can find something, I'll leave a link down below for you guys. But this should do the trick with just 2 nice thick layers. So what we're going to do, there's going to be 2 rounds to this border we're going to do. And the border is what's going to sew these 2 sides together. So what you want to do is make sure that your wrong sides are facing each other. So this is my wrong side here, and this is my wrong side. So I'm going to get them to face each other. And the idea is that you should have the equal number of stitches along each side. So I'm going to grab my yarn here, and I am going to use this terracotta color. And I'm going to start in a corner. So I'm going to take this corner here, and you can either throw that tail in there or weave it in at the end. So I'm going to place my hook through the corner here and through this corner space here. And that is where I'm going to place my yarn on my hook here. And I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to chain 1. And now these 2 pieces are secured to each other. So for round 1 is the round that we're actually going to sew the 2 pieces together. Round 2 is more going to be a decorative round and actually optional. So if you like the look of just having this simple round we're doing now, then you'll be done. If you want to add the little embellishment, then stick around with me after this round. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back into this corner space, and we are going to single crochet. Just like that, okay? And then all we're going to do is we are going to single crochet into every single stitch through both sides. So as we've done before, make sure you don't miss this very first stitch here. I'm going to place my hook through that stitch, and then I find the corresponding stitch in the panel in the back. Now this is where I slip stitch to join, so maybe a little funky to see. It's right there. And I'm going to single crochet. And that's basically it. Super easy, nothing crazy. And in your corners, see that? So 1 in each stitch. And then in your corners, notice I only put 1 single crochet, but when I come back around, I will place a second single crochet and a chain 1. Now for this border, we are only going to do a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So in previous rounds, we used to do 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. So for the final round, we're only going to do 1 of each. So nice and easy, 1 single crochet into every single stitch, matching the front panel to the back panel. In your corners, you're going to place a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Okay, so your work is going to look a little like that. And it is sewing your pieces together. Okay, so we have now crocheted our 2 sides together. So there's the back of the stitch, and this is the front of the stitch. And again, I haven't blocked mine, but if you find that there's a little bit of rippling, all of this will go away once you block your item. So now if you want to, you can leave yours just like this and you are done. So it's got 2 layers here, and I like that idea because it gives you that extra sense of heat protection. But if you'd like to add a little bit more of an embellishment, then stick around with me for this last round where we're going to do a really cute little kind of petal shape or eye shape border. So here we go. So I've slip stitched to join my round in the corner there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. And then into this same stitch where I slip stitched, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a half double crochet. There we go, right there. And then I'm going to place a double crochet. So we're going to work all into the same stitch. So we have a double crochet. So there's 1 and 2, pull through. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do an extended double crochet. So we'll still yarn over, going back into that same stitch. And you'll pull up a loop, and when you yarn over, you're only going to pull through 1. So you'll remember this from way back here when we did all those crazy fun stitches. And then you yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay, so you can see it's creating a little bit of a peak. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do something called a picot. So you're going to chain 1, and what you're going to do is you're either going to go into the front loop of that stitch, we just did the extended double crochet, or you can even go into the side loop here at the top of the stitch. So it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to slip stitch. And I've done it both ways, so they're both pretty similar. And it just creates a little peak there, which you'll see more prominently in a moment. Once you've done your picot, you're going to continue back still into the same stitch. We're going to place a double crochet. So we're going down again now in the length of our stitches. And then you're going to do a half double crochet. So you're putting a lot of stitches into that same stitch there. Okay. So you've got something that looks like that. So it looks like a little petal there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch still into that same spot. So we've done a lot here. Okay, so now we've completed our first little petal. Isn't that cute? So what we're going to do next is we are going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And then into the next stitch. And then you're going to slip stitch into the third stitch, and this is where we're going to begin our next little petal. So essentially there's going to be 2 slip stitches in between each petal, and where you create the third slip stitch is where we're going to begin the next petal. So we're going to do this all over again. So once you've slip stitched into the third one, you will chain 1, then half double crochet, then double crochet, then an extended double crochet, and that stitch is going to stretch a little bit, but don't worry. Then you're going to create a little picot by chaining 1. Now some people will chain 2. I'm just chaining 1 in this project. And I'm going to show you as well how I'm going to slip stitch into that front loop this time. And it's generally the same effect. Okay, and then back into the same stitch, you're going to do a double crochet, and then a half double crochet. You're going to chain 1 and then slip stitch back into that same stitch. Okay, there's your second petal. Then you slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And this third stitch is where you'll begin the next petal. See? So by creating a couple of slip stitches in between, it just allows each little petal here to have room to spread out and really show up prominently. And that is the little border we're going to do all the way around. So you're just going to keep following this same pattern with 2 slip stitches in between, and every 3rd slip stitch you're going to create your petal. And that's it, that's all. So go all the way around, and I will meet you up at the very end just so you can see where I slip stitch to join. Then you'll fasten off and your trivet will be complete. Okay, so here is the border. Look at how cute that looks. So basically these look like little petals. Look at how cute they are. And in case you're wondering how I dealt with the corners, just as I had instructed, you just continue on and slip stitch the same number of stitches and the corners will work out just fine. Now I have gone ahead and given this a quick little steam press, just very lightly with my iron. And the only reason why I did that is because this is 100% cotton. I would not recommend you actually making contact with this if you are creating it with acrylic or, I mean, wool is okay. But again, don't put it directly on. And I just did it for literally a second just to kind of even it out so you can see it's nice and flat. And it's sitting just beautifully. And if you turn it this way, you can see that beautiful little ellipse shape really coming through. Now, I have not finished it because I wanted you to see that my stitch count or the stitches that I had left over for this border did not equal out perfectly. And this most likely may happen to you. So I just wanted you to see how I approach this. Now, normally what we've been doing is we've been slip stitching 3 over and then from the 3rd one we continue. Now this second last one here, so I have one more little gap here. What I did is I undid it and I only slip stitched into 2. And so these 2 will just snuggle in a little closer and now I can continue on and finish my last petal here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do what I usually have been doing. I'm going to slip stitch into the next 3. There's 2. And there is 3. Okay, then I'm going to chain 1. Now I have exactly 3 stitches left before I get to that first petal. So I could have done it at the end here, but I just decided to kind of shorten the number of stitches just before I got to the corner. So that's just an easy fix you can do. If you don't have 3 stitches left over, like let's say you had 2 stitches, it's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to finish this last petal here. And then once you slip stitch to join, you will see that no one is the wiser. Whoops. So this is my extended double crochet, chain 1 with the picot. Then we have a double crochet and a half double crochet. Chain 1, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into that same stitch. And this is where I will fasten off because we've got exactly 3 stitches left and we start again. We don't really need to slip stitch over. You can if you want to, if it makes you feel like it's going to solidify it a little bit more. See how nice and even that looks? So I'm going to grab my scissors here, leave a little bit of a tail, snip my yarn. And actually, just to make it really, I'm not going to chain 1. I'm actually going to pull that right through, just to make it look a little bit more uniform. And then I'm actually going to pull this tail through to the back here. And then I'm going to just weave it in behind here and just hide it inside a couple of these petals. And that is it. And now, when you turn it around, you really can't tell where one begins and one ends. Isn't that pretty? So there you have it, guys. This is the I Spy Trivet. I hope you've enjoyed working on this ellipse motif. And for those of you that have been curious about how to take it and square it off, I hope you really found this super interesting and helpful on how I approach odd shapes and square them off. Now, if you have any questions, I know this one was a little bit intricate. But if you have any questions, please do leave them for me in the comment box down below. Or as always, you can reach me directly at info@crochetcrafty.com. And I'm very happy to help you with any questions you may have. And as always, come visit me on the website, crochetcrafty.com. There's lots of fantastic resources, as well as a link to my Etsy shop where you can find a few more of my written patterns. And don't forget, you can come say hi to me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at The Stitch Sessions. I tend to spend a little bit more time on Instagram than I do Facebook, but come and say hi to me. Make sure you tag me in your designs, and I would love to see them. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. I am really looking forward to seeing what colorways you have decided to use for your eye shape. And please feel free to share them with me. And I know a lot of our crochet friends are always curious to see what everybody else is up to with their designs. And that's all for today. I hope you guys have a really great day. Make sure to take good care of yourselves. Happy crocheting as always. And I will see you guys in next week's session. Bye-bye.